So after the recent patch, came some new handheld weapons, and today I'll go over the meta for suction, hard floor, carpet, cleaning, and in-game support in order to optimize your perfect build against low, medium, and high-level enemies, and with the 7 most popular weapons, 3 being Dysons, and not to mention, none of this is sponsored, because the first place is the Dyson Outsized, with high burst and sustained damage, but also the highest gold. But the enemies did have a terrain buff, preventing a full clear from all the weapons, and that's why the second place is Dyson V11. Good DPS but less burst, and then there's the V8, reliable but not game changing. Next is followed by Samson and Lavoy, decent but lacking base damage. Now we have the Shark Red and Blue. Even with the terrain debuff, their low damage output and increased clear time are inexcusable, a result of the devs nerfing their head design. Because when you compare the Shark versus the Dyson design, it has many more openings than the Dyson head, which means the Dyson will be less effective as the mobs level up or increase in numbers. Now against mid-tier enemies, Dyson outsized DPS stays overpowered, showcasing its versatility. But surprisingly, Shark Blue and Red got a serious buff against mid-level enemies, providing a much higher damage. Lavoy holds steady at the intermediate tier, but Dyson V8 and V11 falls off mid-game, with V8 showing slightly better adaptability. Why was there such a big difference between the Dysons? Well, the V8 and V11 share the same head with 5 openings while the outsize has 4, but with an extra 2 that can be adjusted to increase raw power. Samson, however, proves that having mid power while getting counterpicked results in a bad time. In boss battles, the Dyson outsize is still the top dog, outclassing all the other ones by miles. But how? It has a bigger motor, but that doesn't mean it has more power, right? Right? Spoilers. It does. Anyways, Lavoy surprisingly came second. But why? It uses guy railings to funnel enemies to a single choke point like tower defense players, followed by Dyson V11 and then V8, maintaining high DPS and durability for endgame content. Next is Shark Red, best for mid-game enemies but only decent against everything else. But that's nothing compared to Samson, which seems like it's weak against all enemy types. But that's not true, because the Samson came with a different loadout, and when we did the test with that attachment, it did much better, because this type of weapon head has increased damage for hard floor terrain. Besides, you can also upgrade to this attachment for other weapons like the Dyson. And finally, Shark Blue coming in after Shark Red. Now let's see how they all do with side edging. Dyson Outsize dominates yet again with the other Dysons right behind it, very close to a full clear. Samson nearly aced the level, but a blind spot in its wheels left some enemies behind, while Lavoy struggles for the same issue, but that's nothing against the Sharks. They had the toughest time clearing the level, with Shark Blue lagging the most. Why? Aren't they the same class? They look alike, but the Shark Red has a flap on its rollers while the Shark Blue doesn't, which buffs the damage on hard floors. And for the mid tier, no surprise, Dyson Outsize tops the leaderboard once again, followed by Dyson V8 and Shark Red. The other Shark lags way behind in 6th place, despite being specialized for these enemy types. Disappointing. Then comes Dyson V11, Lavoy, and Samson to bring up the rear. Here come the bosses, and again, no one could full clear, but what is clear is Dyson Outsize remaining the undisputed king. It clears to S rank. The 2 Sharks came next with Red and then Blue, thanks to his multi-open head design. So B- for Shark Red and D for Shark Blue. That's quite the gap. Next is the 2 Dysons, with the V8 beating V11 versus bosses, but for the side edging in total, they excelled in slightly different areas, but overall very similar. And because there was such a gap in points, both Dyson drops to B rank and no A rank weapons. And also, the EXP is not a gimmick or random. It's based on their rankings at the end. Lavoy came 6th this round with 16 points for side edging, which is average when it comes to damage, so it goes in C tier. And lastly, but also last, Samson with 18 points this round, and also last with combined points. It's very disappointing, but we haven't seen its true potential just yet. For now, it's in D-.